Hello, everyone. Welcome to How to Get Your Voice Heard in a Hybrid Setting. I'm Candace Thorson, Senior Staff Writer at GovLoop. So far today, we've heard a lot of great takeaways. We've most recently learned how to get your work done and still be innovative, how to have a rewarding career in public service by following a passionate purpose, and how to relearn how to learn by using 7 essential life skills. So now we're going to talk about navigating a hybrid environment, because whether you're working virtually or in person, everybody's ideas should be respected and heard. And, in a traditional circumstance, effective communication can be tough. But the hybrid world has made it so much more difficult. It can be very, very hard to make yourself shine during a video call or to weigh in, to have a presence when you're not in the same room as somebody else. And there's a connection that you can miss when you're not physically next to somebody. So the expert we're going to hear from now is going to discuss how to make yourself stand out and communicate effectively wherever you are, whether it's virtually or in person, standing next to your colleagues. We do have a few housekeeping things to go over first, and you've probably heard them by now, but I do have to say them again. If you're on Twitter, please share what you learned using the hashtag NextGenGov. We have some really great resources available for you, including the slide deck we're about to see, and you can find those in the resource module that's on the right side of your console, so check them out. Obviously, we don't want you to have technical difficulties, but life happens. So if you do, send us a message through the Q&A tab, and my colleague Julia will take care of you. You can also use that tab to submit questions to our speaker, and we definitely want your questions, so don't be shy. You also can engage with your fellow attendees through Open Chat, and you just click on the blue group chat button that's in the middle panel of your screen. And just so you know, we're recording the entire virtual summit, and tomorrow we'll email you a link so you can catch up on any of the sessions you missed, or if you want to rewatch this one. Lastly, we're going to give 1 CPE credit for your participation in today's session. You need to do 3 things to get that. You have to take all the polls that we do in the session, participate in the entire thing, and then afterwards fill out a post-event evaluation form, and that can be found in the resource module on the console, or you can go to the resource tab in the main environment, and we'll email all CPEs directly to you after we confirm that you've met all the requirements. So now that I've gotten all that out of the way, I want to introduce you to our expert, Treva Smith. She is the Deputy Director, National Geospatial Intelligence College in the Human Development Directorate. She ensures that NGC resources align with the NGA's strategic vision and GeoInt enterprise needs today and in the future. She oversees day-to-day operations, ensuring the provision of tradecraft instruction, professional development training, and GeoInt professional certification. So thank you so much, Treva. The floor is yours.
Hi, thank you so much. It is an honor to be with you today. Thank you for the NextGen team for thinking of me to present this brief to you today. I started in the federal government 33 years ago as a GS4, and I've been able to navigate a successful career to the senior executive ranks. And it is nothing more important than being able to provide information to those phenomenal federal government team members who are interested in your careers, which is evident by your attendance today. So we'll go ahead and get started. Our conversation today is directly related to the area of how to get your voice heard in a hybrid setting. I'm putting a little special spin on it for you because I think that if we lock in and really think about our executive presence, in addition to how the federal government has identified executive core qualifications, you will shine no matter where you are, whether you're virtual, whether you're in office, whether you are at a networking event, you will shine. So as the first slide says, we are our brand. And as a federal government team member, I offer you our building the framework of your executive core qualifications. Next slide. So ECQs, this is just a quick overview, and I'm not sure if you've ever gone to opm.gov to really look at what are executive core qualifications. Oftentimes we feel as though those are standards only if you are going to move into the SES ranks, which means you really wouldn't start paying attention to them until you're a GS 15. I would offer that the ECQs, and we're going to talk about it in a second, are really an arc to your entire career. These ECQs are focused on how we drive for results, how we serve customers, how we build successful teams, how we understand and manage professional coalitions within your agency and outside of your organization. Again, you can find these at opm.gov. Next slide. So the poll question here is, did you know that you can actually start thinking about your ECQs at every level of your career journey, whether you're a GS4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 11, 12, 13, 14, you can start. Did you know that? Hit yes or no.
We'll just give you a moment or so more to answer. Okay, those are the results.
All right, fantastic. We have almost 60% who have said, hey, yeah, I knew that we could start thinking about our ECQs. And we have about 42% that are like, well, no, I didn't know. So let's talk through what it means for team members in the early phases of your career, how you can start tapping in to ECQs. Next slide, please. So as you know, there are actually 5 executive core qualifications: leading change, leading people, results-driven, business acumen, and building coalitions. Oftentimes we wonder, how do we make these ECQs fit in the junior to mid-level part of our career journey, especially if we are not an actual supervisor or team lead? I would offer that there are actually 2 areas that you can really get hyper-focused on now, and then you can continue to grow into the other ECQs as you progress in your career. Those are leading change and results-driven. Let's go to the next slide. So if you look at this, when we talk about driving for results or results driven, this is about personal accountability, your customer service measures, being decisive as you are moving through your day-to-day opportunities, entrepreneurship. I know that we think oftentimes entrepreneurship is about starting new businesses and working on your own, but you can actually be in an organization and be an entrepreneur as you are looking around and saying, hey, what needs to be solved? What needs to be produced? What needs to be developed? What do we need to stop, right? So you can use those entrepreneurial skill sets right in your organization. Problem solving, and then, of course, one of the most important, and that is your technical credibility. We are all oftentimes in a track or series that dictates the level of knowledge that we need to know about one specific area. If you're in human resources, your track is HR. If you're IT, that track is IT. If you are in budget and finance, that track is budget and finance. But you want to make sure that you're really locking in and becoming a technical expert as you are growing in your field. So driving for results. Next slide, please. Also, leading change. When we think about leading change, we also think that because it starts with leading, that should be a supervisory responsibility or an executive responsibility. But oftentimes you are a leader exactly where you are. In any opportunity, you have to think about change. What's creative? How are you flexible? How are you resilient? Are you thinking strategically? What is the vision you have for the future? That is leading change. And so as you are in your spaces now and you're driving for results and you're looking at all of this opportunity to be creative, while still being strategic. This is the space where you're really able to grow in leading change. So those are the two areas that are quite important as we start thinking about building our professional brand at our junior career levels. We'll go to the next slide, please. So what do these ECQs have to do with your voice being heard in a virtual setting? Listen, as a professional, if you're building relationships, you're developing your professional brand, you are aware of your broader organization, and you're leading from where you are, no matter where you reside, whether you are remote, you're telework, you're in office, you're networking, you will have locked in to opportunities and ways to have your voice heard because you're knowledgeable and you are a leader and you are a technical expert in your area. Next slide. So building relationships. Oftentimes I will have team members say, well, who should I be building relationships with? How do I build these critical relationships? What does it have to do with my future growth? Well, I want to give a few key relationships that is really important for you to think about as you are growing within your career. Surely it's your leadership, your supervisor, who you're reporting to on a regular basis. When we talk about how we develop that relationship, it's really about how you show up as your authentic self, understanding the culture of your organization. Listen to your supervisor or boss to hear about the things that they are most interested in that professional environment. I'll give you an example. I'm a senior executive. That's great. I still have a boss. And my boss's interests are solely related into making sure our budget is straight and ensuring that we are offering the right courses for our customers. So when I engage with my boss, I'm ensuring that I talk to him about our budget and our courses. Oftentimes we think about the things that we want to do and we're missing the needs of our boss, and you start to have a little bit of that friction. Once I've actually leaned into my boss's specific needs and his interests, I'm then able to go off and do some of the things that I may want to do as it relates to shaping and being a little creative in the organization. But really think through how you engage and how you lean into your leadership needs. Team members. The team members who are on your team right now are those team members that creating successful, meaningful partnerships with will help you to progress in your career. This is oftentimes their team members who will turn into your peers and colleagues as you move forward in your career. So it's really important to find ways to connect with your team members, understanding that there is diverse ways of communicating. But even through that diversity, how are we being inclusive to ensure that we're communicating and building relationship with everybody? Your colleagues and your peers. These are team members across your agency that you may be engaged with who aren't in your line of business, but support your line of business in some type of critical way. So there is a need and a necessity to ensure that you're building these relationships with your colleagues and peers as well. And then, of course, with your key stakeholders, who is interested in the business that you are doing in your organization? Those are your key stakeholders. And building critical relationships with your key stakeholders is necessary. Again, these turn into team members who are able to advocate for you and create a bridge of communication in other areas within the organization. Also, I wanted to say really quick, you can ask questions while we go along, and I'll ask the moderator if we have any questions in the chat, and I'll answer a few of them while I am briefing. So if you have any questions, just drop them in the chat. So developing your personal brand. I was talking a little bit about this before we actually started today. And one of the things about your personal brand is how you show up, right? It is important to be studied and prepared for the meetings that you're going to attend. whether you're attending them virtually or in the office or have to give a small speech or talk at a networking event. You have to be studied and prepared for those meetings so that you know where are the critical areas that I may have a question that I need to bring up, or how can I continue to learn and ask a probing question that will expand my knowledge. But the preparation for meetings is critical. Participating in meetings with the camera on, especially meetings with your leadership, with your stakeholders, and with your colleagues and peers. It's really, really important. I gave a quick talk at another organization, and we talked about what it means to have that camera on. I'm going to go to the far left first and say, with your camera off, oftentimes it's like you sitting in a meeting with a bag over your head, right? You're not engaged. No one can see you. Would you have a bag over your head if you were in person, right? And so this is an alternate means for you to communicate and be engaged and be constructive and leaned in. We have to see you, right? We have to see you. We want to see you. We want to hear what you have to say. So turn that camera on. Participate in some of your organization's special events. Those special events really give you an opportunity to stretch beyond your comfort zone, learn new team members across your agency, begin to develop and build that camaraderie and strengthen your professional brand. Every organization in the federal space has Feds, Feeds, Families every year, right? Maybe this year would be your year to participate on Feds, Feeds, Families as one of your agency champions to see how you can continue to stretch and grow across different areas in your organization. Manage your time and update progress on projects. Also, what sometimes could feel like someone micromanaging you. Why do I have to give updates on my projects? Why is that important? It feels like I'm being micromanaged. Here's what I would offer from a leadership perspective. Create the space for your leaders to be able to support you in a way that is meaningful. Create the space where leadership can help you if you get stuck in your project. Create space for your leadership to be able to brief and update your project status on your behalf. And so figure out what that good timing is, right? If it's Monday morning to provide the boss, hey, listen, this is where I am with this project. I'll give you an update on Thursday. Kind of set the expectation and the tone for your leadership so that you can brief them before they come and ask you where you are on a project. This is all about developing your professional brand in those areas of delivering results and leading change. We already talked about seeking opportunities for special projects. Okay, we can go to the next slide. All right, for some reason I can't see what the actual poll question is. Hold on. Oh, I got it. Did you know your professional brand is critical to your success? Did you know your professional brand is critical to your success?
We'll give everybody just a moment more. Okay.
Thank you. I'd love to see that almost 84% truly understand that professional brand is critical to your success. Our other 16%, hey, listen, that's why you're here today. Have no fear. When you leave us, you will have the tidbits and tricks that you need to consider and lean into your professional brand. Here's the thing. For those who said yes, I'm hoping that you're not leaning too heavy on your technical expertise as your professional brand and missing the areas as it relates to the factors of delivering change, delivering results, and leading change. All right, next slide. Do we have any questions in the chat so far?
Not yet, but absolutely feel free to weigh in, offer some questions.
All right, if you have any questions, jump in. That's part of your professional brand, being engaged, being inquisitive. So I'd love to hear what questions you have. So I think we have another poll question that came right behind, and it's, when should you arrive to a meeting? Should you get there right on time, 15 minutes early, or 5 minutes early?
I personally love this question. I've shown up for places half an hour early and sat in my car until I thought it was an okay time, because I didn't want to go in too early, but I didn't want to get lost getting there. Yeah. So.
Right. I don't know if anyone is taking the poll right now.
Okay. We can.
Right. This is fantastic. All right. For my folks who said right on time, you may run the risk of having a little bump or a delay, and you might be a little bit late if you're right on time. For my team members who are 5 minutes early, absolutely. That is actually the key time to arrive to a meeting, such that you may not be waiting too long, feeling uncomfortable. Just getting there in enough time to have a little bit of banter, whether it's in person or even online. I often say that we have to arrive in a virtual setting about 15 minutes early, only for the prep, right? Let's make sure our technology is working. Let's make sure the camera's on. Let's make sure our background is set. The mic is working, and then you can go ahead and go on mute and then come back and jump on. Even now, I am finding myself team members who dial on 5 minutes early, finding out, oh, something's not working. I have to dial in. I don't have the number. What are we doing here, right? So in a virtual setting, take that 15 minutes to early to kind of dial in, make sure all your systems are up. If you're in person, it's still leaving your office probably about 10 minutes ahead of time to get to the meeting location, and then 5 minutes early to get settled in, get a read of the room, and have some banter. So I love the responses. Thank you so much. Again, my right on time, folks. I need you guys to think about just trying to get to your meetings 5 minutes early to start, and then you can grow into getting to some meetings about 15 minutes early, especially if it's virtual. Next slide, please. So here's a quick question. I got a question from Shanice Strand, Treva. I struggle with relating my work to ECQs. Is there a class that I can take? There may not be an actual class that you can take, but on opm.gov, if you just type in Executive Core Qualifications, there are any number of documents that are going to come up that help you align the work that you're doing now to ECQs, and probably give more details on some things that you should be focused on throughout your career. And also, you have my information, but I'm also on LinkedIn, and I think my LinkedIn is tagged somewhere in some of the information. Feel free to shoot me a note on LinkedIn as well. Thank you, Shanice. So another part of really growing your professional brand that will ensure your voice is heard, whether you are virtual, remote, in office, or at a networking event, is really understanding your broader organization, understanding the mission and the vision. What is the 5-year strategy? Does your organization have core values? Do you understand your organizational structure? Who is actually leading your organization, and all of the office directors who are in that chain of command leading the organization? Taking time to lean into special projects so you can meet and greet and get engaged with your workforce. You really get a sense of where you sit and what your job really means to the greater good of your organization. And then, of course, how do you lean into and find mentors and advisors to help you along your career journey? I will be completely honest with you. My career may not have been as successful without my mentors and advisors along the way. From a GS5 or 6, I've had a mentor and mentors as my career journey continued to progress. You'll need a mentor for different areas. One person oftentimes isn't the only key to your career experience, but multiple mentors to really help shape and guide. And then, of course, you make the final decision on your career as well. So make sure you're getting out there with mentors and advisors. When you have a broader awareness of your organization, I'm telling you, it creates a knowingness of where I fit in this organization. And when you're going into meetings, you have more understanding of what my role is and how I can serve in a way that's meaningful as well. So just make sure you get tied into your organization's broader construct. Next slide, please. Okay, here we go again. Oh, question. Have you read your agency or your organization's strategic plan? Have you read your agency's organization or your agency or organization strategic plan?
We'll just give everybody a minute. Impressive results. Okay.
This is fantastic. So again, I think is evident in the astuteness of this group because you are here and you're ready to learn, that you are leaned in team members. 82% have read their organization's strategic plan. About 18% of you have not. Listen, for our 18%, you are part of us. You are in it to win it. Don't feel bad. Just pull up your agency's strategic plan and give it a read and really figure out what your agency is really looking at in addition to the mission and vision, in addition to core values, if you have core values within your organization. This is fantastic. Thank you. I did get another question here from Deirdre Green. I'm going to read it and answer it. Is there an appropriate time to discuss ECQs with your manager and get their feedback on how you are performing? Should that be reserved for annual performance reviews? So I think that there are at the very least 2 times a year that you have a performance conversation with your boss. And it's about your performance as it is right now based on time and space, right? From October 1 to September 31st. As you really think about those more descriptive career conversations, I would lean in with my mentor or my advisor first to really shape it in a way that it doesn't reside in, oh, I just want to be a senior. I don't think that's what you're asking. So I want to be kind there, but I want to be a senior, but more so, where do you see your career going? Are you interested in career progress? Are you interested in a career pivot? Are you interested in ways to still be engaged, but at the same time, life happens, I need to take a little bit of a career pause? You have to think through what is your timing, all of the things that really go into that career development and career planning that a mentor or an advisor would be able to help you with in a way that you're able to package that up for your supervisor and then have a conversation as it relates to not always what they perceive as your next steps, but more so, how do you own that? And you're able to say, these are the things that I'm interested in. I'd like to do X, Y, and Z, right? And so I hope that is a little bit helpful. But if I were you, I would get with my mentor and supervisor and really start talking about the longer look at my career and how that's actually shaped down the line. Love the chat here. The next poll that we have. Oh, can you list your agency or your organization's core values? And if you can, I need you to drop them in the chat. I will tell you mine, as I talked about at the top of this meeting. I'm at National Geospatial Intelligence Agency, part of the Big Six in the intelligence community. If you think about geography and spatial, ours is Earth, EARTH, and Earth stands for excellence, accountability, trust, respect, and honesty. And so ours is Earth. But I want to see it. Those you guys who said yes, drop it in the chat. I want to know what your core values are. And are you aligned to those core values? Uh-oh. This is the first one. All right, team. About 39% said, yeah, I know what our core values are. About 61% said no. So do me a favor. Do me a favor. Check in your organization and see if you have some core values listed that you can really get in tune and locked in with in a way that really connects you with your organization. Let's see here. I think I just got some chats. Oh, this is fantastic. Stephanie said at PGBC, it's integrity, professionalism, transparency, and accountability. Rita, excellent. Hey, somebody else has Earth. I know you, Rita. Mike says accountability, empowerment, and equity for all people at his organization. Let's see here. Dolores said family, respect, trust, integrity. Sherry Mitchell has said integrity, commitment, advocacy, respect, and excellence. So as you see that the many organizations with those core values, for those who said no, go ahead and check out your websites to see if they're there. If they're not there, maybe you could talk with leadership to talk about how you develop some core values for your organization. And hello to my NGA team member. All right. So leading from where you are, this is again about building and maintaining professional relationships, developing a positive communication stream with your boss. It is important to provide status and updates on your projects and assignments. It is important to understand what's on your boss's top of mind. And it is important to deliver timely results. So just make sure you lean into and communicate with your boss. I know it can be difficult sometimes. If you have any questions, shoot me a note over on LinkedIn and I'll give you some creative ways to make sure that you can get in some time with your boss. Check in to see how your team members are doing, right? Not so much, everything that's going bad, but what are some things that are going really good? I know that we're all on Microsoft Teams now. Where I work, we have a instant messenger or Jabber account internally. A conversation starter that we use every day. My boss sends a note on all of the national days. Like I think today is National Hostess Cupcake Day. It's National Eat What You Want Day. And it's National something else, but we start a conversation that's actually very engaging. And he just sends, what the national days are. So find ways to really check in with your team members in a creative way so that you're creating those long-lasting relationships. Manage your time well. Manage your time well. Deliver timely. Show up on time. Make sure you're managing your time well. When faced with the challenge, team, listen, bad news does not get better over time. Bad news does not get better over time. So when you're faced with the challenge or you're faced with the unintended barrier for one of your projects, research your viable options and then meet with your boss and let them know what the challenge is, what the barrier is, and these are 2 ways that you could resolve it, and you just like their input for the solution. Don't just take the problem to your boss, but really bring in that research and your ability to give some recommendations and solutions. And then always, 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 always deliver results. Okay. Our next poll question, do you feel comfortable reaching out to potential mentors? Do you feel comfortable reaching out to potential mentors? While you guys are answering that, Aranola, her core values in her agency are mutual respect, provide quality care, build relationship. Let's see if I had any more here.
Okay, we have the poll results up.
Fantastic. So we have about 78% who are cool, you're good to go as it relates to engaging with potential mentors. And then we have 22% that are not. We are here for you. For my 22%, let's talk about some ways that you can link up with potential mentors. I'll give you 3 quick tips that if you put in practice, I can almost guarantee that you will end up with a phenomenal mentor or advisor. The first thing is get involved in some special events or projects within your organization. This is a prime opportunity to ensure that you are meeting and engaging with team members that aren't within your business line. The second tip is your mentor or advisor doesn't always have to be a GS15 or SES, right? And so if you are, I don't know, at a GS11, then maybe a GS13, because that's pretty much the next 2 jobs that you'll be looking at. A GS13 would be a phenomenal option for a mentor. Look around your organization at someone that you want to model, that has leadership presence, that delivers results, that's leading change, and send them a quick note, right? And ask them a very deliberate question where they pretty much can't just say yes or no, right? And so ask the question, I'm in this business line, I am interested in growing my career. You are very impressive. I'd like to talk to you about ways I can continue to grow my career. Listen, hands down, that's a wrap. Oftentimes, anyone is more than willing to help someone who is interested in growing their career and interested in growing their career kind of in the same line of business as they are. The third thing that I would offer is think back to your former bosses that you've had in the past and reach back to some of your former bosses to engage them and ask them the critical question. When I was working with you, what are some things you perceive that I would need to work on? That's another great way to tap into a resource to start the conversation for a mentor or advisor. Beautiful. This has actually been really fun, you guys. We have a few minutes left. Hold on, I see 2. Oh, thank you, Ms. Smith. Did state my core values. Okay, thank you, Dolores.
So while we wait for some other questions to come in, I had one. Sometimes it's difficult for people who are kind of shy or introverts. It's hard enough for them when they're in person with people to be able to interact and stand out. So when they're remote, it can be even harder, So do you have any thoughts on that, on helping at least for the time when they happen to be remote instead of in the office, to maybe give them the confidence or help them to be able to even just speak out or be acknowledged as being there?
I do. And it really rests in knowing your agency, reading those core key documents, ensuring that you stay prepared and ready for meetings so that when you're in the meeting, you will have something to say. Like when you're not prepared and you're a little bit introverted, it's, it makes it even harder to kind of speak up, right? And so really think about that preparation. Get to that meeting early so that you can, say, hey, everyone, how you doing? Good, good, good. Everyone's like, hey, great to see you. And you can kind of start building that rapport, right? I do believe that all team members should show up authentic to who they are. So if you're not, a complete rah, rah, rah with the pom-poms, don't do it. Don't try it. It's okay, right? But move in your authentic space. And part of that is being prepared, being timely, and leaning on, again, that relationship with your boss, right? Start those communications and conversations with your boss. Oftentimes your boss will call on you and say, hey, I was having a conversation with so-and-so. Would you like to share? So those are just some ways to kind of step smartly into that space. That's a great question. Thank you. Someone did have a question. Oh, what are your thoughts on people not having their video on during meetings? How can you gauge their body language tone to see if they are buying in on what you're trying to accomplish? We talked about that just a little bit. And I would offer that it is critically important to have your video on when you are in a meeting, specifically with stakeholders, your supervisors, and colleagues. With your team, sometimes you have so many meetings that a telephone meeting is fine. But if you wouldn't sit in a conference room with your boss with a bag over your head, don't do it. Don't do it on the video, right? People want to see you. People want to know that you're engaged. People want to know, get that body language with someone when it feels like what they've said hasn't resonated and they can lean in a little bit more, right? But it is critically important to be seen and be heard. There was another question that came in. How do you identify potential mentors? Again, you have to get out into your agency. You have to see who's out and about. You have to develop those relationships and connections. I'll be honest with you, every mentor is not for you. And as a mentee, you are not for every mentor. So asking one general question via email to start a dialogue to see if it's a good match is usually the best way to find a good mentor. I will also offer being prepared, knowing your organization, being engaged in special projects. Oftentimes your mentor will choose you. I've chosen many of my mentees because I've seen them working. I've seen them trying really hard. I've seen them on special projects. And I'm like, hey, it looks like you're really focused on the future of your career. Why don't you come and see me and let's talk? So sometimes your mentor will actually choose you as well based on how you're showing up.
And that's a pleasant surprise. I know in my experience, somebody came up out of the blue and decided he wanted to help me and that's a great feeling. That's, it makes you feel good about yourself that you've accomplished things. And it's just nice to know somebody's thinking of you in a good way.
Yeah.
So yeah. That was great. That was great.
It really, really is.
You talked about, rating. So there's more questions coming in, but you talked about personal brand. So, and, professional brand. So I guess, could you sort of explain how you develop that? For instance, for me, I'm not quite sure what I would say my professional brand is. So, do you have any thoughts on how you get there? Or how did you kind of figure out what yours was?
Yeah. And I think, again, it's authentic and it's deliberate for for the individual, taking into account the organization that they're working in. I'll be honest with you, your professional brand, just from the time that we've been together today in our conversation at the top of the meeting, extremely engaging, helpful, timely, and inquisitive, right? So that's what I got from you just in our little bit of time together today, right? Which is very positive, like someone I would reach out to again if I had a question about another, NextGen conference, right? And so the professional brand, oftentimes, if you think about what do you want people to see when they see you coming, right? Mm. We want to see helpful. Do they want to see engaged? Do you want them to see, right? And so it kind of depends on that. What do you want people to see when they see you coming? And what do you want to leave people with? And so when you start thinking about developing that professional brand, it's very important to think about those things as well. You want people to leave with knowing that, this is for our team members, everyone who's on the line, knowing that you are a positive part of the organization who drives and delivers results and leads change, especially where you are in your careers right now. If I'm not mistaken, I don't think we have a lot of supervisors online, because I'd have a different set of standards for our supervisors. But really think about what you want to leave people with. So do some self-reflection. Are you timely? Right? Are you, my phenomenal team members on here today, are you really studying and getting deep into your technical trade craft, right? Are you able to have conversations, the difficult conversations, if you're running up against a barrier, or you're late for something, for a project? Are you able to have that conversation with your boss, right? And so it's really kind of in that space on what do you want to leave people and what do people see when you're coming. I hope that was helpful.
And making sure that and I'm sure making sure that you have a good relationship with your boss, which is important anytime, but especially if you're remote or partially remote, that's got to be even more important.
Yeah, it is. It's critically important. And I want to talk about one thing, and I think our time is short. It is 2:35. Should you guys be off somewhere else?
Not quite yet. We have a few more minutes, but yes, we're approaching the end.
Okay. All right. So I have one more tip, because oftentimes in our education from K through college, everything is very linear. You knew your assignments, you knew when they were due, someone was going to check on you, right? And so it was a very linear path that you knew exactly everything that had to get done. And so it can be difficult to then finish undergrad, finish grad school, and then be in this space where you are considered a professional and expert, but you're like, I don't want to ask a question because I should already know this. Ask the question. The workspace is dynamic. It is complex. Your supervisor is there to help and lead and guide. Your mentors are there to help and lead and guide. Your peers and colleagues are there to help and lead and guide. And so really lean into that space, in that space where it's kind of the unknown. Again, coming from school, very linear, everything is laid out for us. And because we were successful there, it's hard for us to connect to the success piece on the other side because it's not as linear. So again, lean in. And because it's not linear, that's where imposter syndrome starts popping in. But we're not talking about imposter syndrome today. We can do that next year. But that's how
I love imposter syndrome. I think that's great. So
yeah, but that's how imposter syndrome jumps in. Okay, so have some great resources for you here as we wrap up, and please let us know if you have any more questions. Inc.com is a great leadership website. You can go and they have some phenomenal articles. Same with success.com. Please go over and check out opm.gov. Lots and lots and lots of information as it relates to career development and leadership development. Harvard Business Review. Those are some of the largest, longest research articles in the world. But if you have 15 minutes, give one a read at least once a month. I guarantee you will be better for it. And then, of course, review your organization leadership development courses. One thing that's so phenomenal about the federal government, and one of the reasons I've loved Department of Defense immensely over these past 33 years, is the opportunity for the leadership development courses that our organizations offer. Lean into those leadership development courses. Let's see. Is it bad to apply for promotion outside your agency? Does it show the lack of loyalty? It's not bad to apply for promotions outside of your organization. You are loyal to the federal government and public service, and you're loyal to your own career progression. However, while you are within your organization, whether you're seeking new positions or not, it is our job to ensure that we are showing up for the mission every day, ready and leaned in. So whether we are looking for other positions, it's still very important to make sure that you are tapped into your organization while you are there on their goals. Thank you, Rita. Okay. So
okay, with that, I think we're out of time, but thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I got a lot out of it, and now I know what my personal brand is, so thank you very much. We want to thank our 2022 Partner Alliance, excuse me. You can see there for helping put on today's NextGen Summit. And I do have a few quick reminders for you before we log off. Don't forget to fill out your CPE evaluation form in order to get your credit. If you haven't already, you can go over to the exhibit hall on the main virtual summit screen to check out our amazing booths. I think they look great, and they're filled with additional information. And then up next, our closing session starts at 3 p.m. Eastern, and you can access that session by going through the conference hall in the main environment. And there are going to be two keynote presentations. One is Confront and Eliminate Unconscious Bias in the Workplace. And the second one, and I love this title, I think it's very forthright, Networking, What You're Doing Wrong and What You Must Start Doing Today. So that kind of gets to it. So anyway, thank you so much, Treva. We really appreciate your time, and we'll see you at the next session. Thank you.
Right. Hey, team. Ty and Alex are phenomenal. So get those pens out and take all the notes. Those are going to be some great seminars you're going to hear this afternoon. It's been an honor to be here with you. Enjoy the rest of the conference, and I hope that we can tag up and link up sometime in the future out here.
Bye-bye. Thank you so much.
Bye. Thank you.